Hey, what's up? This is Chris, and today we are going to build the Daring Run Flip 6P. So, if you saw in one of my last videos, I built the Daring Run DR70F, which is also kind of flippable, and that was incredible. Everything about that board was super fun, very high quality, and I loved every second of building that. So their other board is called the Flip 6P. This uses pogo connectors and is just as swappable, even more swappable. So I can't say enough on how impressed I am by Daring Run from building and getting the DR70F. So let's do the 6P. I have GMK Tuzi to put on top from Omnitype. I have some Husky switches from Kinetic Labs. I have some cherry clip-in stabilizers from Canon Keys. This board I originally saw on Divinity, but I wanted a different colorway that I could only get from the Daring Run website. So it's just nice to see all the vendors involved. They all have really cool stuff. Obviously, right now they have a ton of Black Friday deals. So for comparison, here's the DR70 case. DR70 with a picture of the layout. This one says FILP 6P. So they actually spelled it. It says FILP 6P, which I think is funny. We all know it means flip, but it says FILP. It actually says FILP everywhere else. Like, look, this is the FILP 6P. Is this really the FILP 6P? Have I been just calling it the flip? No, it is. On the website, it is the FLIP, Flip 6P, which makes total sense because, you can flip the plate and the top case to be southpaw or regular numpad. Okay. Beautiful case inside. This is what I liked about the last one. You have these like leather. That is so nice. So let's start back here. And let's see what all we got. All right, here is the polycarbonate. This says FILP as well. Crazy. So this is the PC plate. This is the stock plate that it comes with. You can see the numpad is like a separate plate part because it can be flipped. So, and we are not going to use this, so we'll set this over here. This is the foam kit. So we will not be using this as well. There's something very hard in here. Those are for the batteries. These look to be foam fillers for the batteries. So this is a tri-mode PCB. I will probably never use it wireless. I always use my keyboards wired. So these go into the battery compartments to absorb the sound so it doesn't get hollow sounding down there. And then also in here, I believe we have, I'm going to say those are force brake stickers. If I'm being honest, I think that's what those are. And then let's look, these are the foam fillers for the battery compartments if you aren't using batteries. Let's open the main PCB first. We see pogo pins, and then we flip it over, we see pogo pins. So I'm assuming these two connect down into the case, and then this must connect to either left or right numpad. Okay, and it appears that they give you two numpads. And the difference is one is mirrored. Okay, so on one numpad, you're going to have the enter key on here on the left side. And on this numpad, you're going to have the enter key on the right side. So I believe I got so we can take a look at the plate now. I believe I got the southpaw mirrored side, and I went with the same plate that I did the DR70F, the southpaw aluminum gold, to give that real nice gold seam along the board. It looks so good. And of course, it just is a real firm sound, and it's everything about this I liked. So let's do it on the flip. All right, so let's flip it over here. And as we can see, we are using this style numpad. So it's southpaw mirrored, I believe. Okay. Oh my gosh. Just like I said with the DR70F. The orange in the renders and the pictures online, it is exactly the orange you get. There is no like, oh, I wish it were brighter or darker. No, I mean, it's pretty perfect. Same thing with this purple. This, again, is B stock. I mean, you can save a bunch of money getting B stock. I did that with the DR70F, and I did not find anything that I could see that was wrong with it. So, you know, somewhere on here is something slightly wrong, and so you can save a bunch of money on their website by getting the B stock. So, do I have a trained anodization eye that can see that? No, I can't. To me, it looks absolutely perfect. The first thing we need to do is put the stabilizers on our PCBs. So the numpad gets 1, 2, 3 stabilizers, 2 up, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 stabilizers needed. So what we're going to do is we have these cherry clip-ins. I believe this is going to get us most of the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we'll steal one from our extra stab bin that we have a ton of. So we'll make it up. So let's get these stabilizers going. Again, these are cherry clip-ins from Cannon Keys. Don't quote me. I think these are owl stabs. Maybe they're Duroc Blacks. I got a lot of V2s, but I usually get the smoky or the clears. So these are screw-ins, which are nice. All right. So let's set that over here. We can, let's just transfer these over to the PCBs for a second. Then we'll clear up some more space. Put our lube kit back together and ship that off to the side over here. Take a little coffee break and we'll get those stabilizers on. Okay. I'm going to go wash my hands actually. All right, let's move the board out of the way here a little bit and get these stabilizers on. So why not? We'll start with the numpad here. So this is the mirrored numpad, and we have 1, 2, 3 stabilizers ready to go for this. So we're going to use our screw-ins for this. All good. All right, PCB is done. All right, let's get the main PCB down now and put the stabilizers on that. We'll put this buddy right here. Flip that in there, clip, and there you go. We got all our stabilizers on the board. So we got backspace, enter, right shift, left shift, and 7U spacebar, along with our enter, plus button, and big old 0 key on the numpad. So we are ready to get our switches. Well, get the plate and get the switches on. We're going to need to use a plate fork because we're not going to use any foam. And here, let's see. Yeah. All right, and here's our plate. So this is the aluminum sandwich plate in gold. There's a nice Flip 6P logo right there on the space bar. This is in the mirrored southpaw, so the enter and 0 key are still on the right-hand side. Or maybe this isn't mirrored. I don't know. This is the... Is it mirrored? Would you consider it mirrored if it's... I just wanted it to be... Whatever it was over here, I wanted it over here. I didn't want it to, like, flip over that as well. So this is what it is. The enter and 0 are here. We're going to lay this on and start building this up. There we go, and you can see the pogo pins just go right into those slots right there. Okay, what I find most important is to get a couple of the outsides done so these hang on the plate together. I want to move this board so we don't end up bumping it at all. So let's put our board over there. For this, we are going to use Husky switches. These are from Kinetic Labs. These are long pole linears. So I'm really excited to try these out. I have really figured out my sound at this point, and it's a long pole, clacky, sort of top mount sound. And so let's get these Huskies going. We'll start with those. And like I said, I like to start up kind of in the corners because we want to anchor, since it's just kind of free floating, we want to anchor this to the plate. Now, it was a little more important with the DR70F because the ribbon cables were holding things together too, so you didn't want them to get any stress. Here we have the pogo pins, so it's not a big of a deal, but we still want to make sure. So let's just get this into the plate. Oh, these Huskies are going to be good. Perfect. All right, all the switches are in. This turned out awesome. We are not doing switches here and here because this is where the HHKB blockers are going to go. And there's also, one of the blockers has a LED panel to show these. I believe it's when caps lock is on or off. So that's really cool. We got the numpad over here on this side, and we are ready to get this into the case and get the keycaps on. So, all right. All right, now obviously we're gonna have to pop this top off. It is not like a ball catch or anything. There are screws on the bottom, so we're gonna flip it over and get those out. I believe they're hex screws, so let's do that. Yes, they are hex screws. All right, here we go. Let's... Okay, now this is the mid plate. If you were using the gasket mounting with the original PC plate, you would leave this in. This is the sort of accent piece that goes between the two plates. But with the aluminum sandwich mount plate, this becomes the mid piece. So we're going to have a gold ring around the outside, and then you put this back in the case until you need it again. One other thing we need to switch is this electronic board here that connects to the pogo pins, as you can see, is now need to be on this side. All right, so as we drop this in, the pogo pins now have to be on that side. So we need to switch this board over here. Oh, the whole thing's gonna flip. Heck yeah. So let's do that. Let's switch this board here. Okay, so we got the electronic board moved from here to here. That way it lines up with these two pogo pins. The last thing we need to do is, I believe there are a series of rubber grommets we put on this to keep it lifted. So let's see what we're dealing with here. The sort of mid plate that came with it, and you can see there's 1, 2, 3 of these rubber grommets. We're going to transfer those over to this board. Okay, so then we went here and here, and then up top, and again that matches with these cutouts there. Okay, so now let's drop that in. So again, we moved our electronic board over to the side to match up with the pogo pins. These should just sort of click right together. Okay, let's flip her back over. Now, as you can see, that mid plate is now gold instead of black, which is a really cool look. I mean, I just think it looks that much better. Ooh, I thought I found the B stock, but no, that was just a piece of dust. I still have yet to find any reason that this or the DR70F are B stock. They look immaculate. So I don't know. Daring Run clearly is an outfit that has a fine eye for detail that I do not. So something made this be stock, but it looks awesome to me. Okay, looking good. All right, so we actually messed up because these blockers need to be installed on the board before we put the top case on. Might as well do it right now. So we'll flip her over and put those on. So here's our anodized purple blocker with the see-through lens. And this is looks like almost a part of the diffuser itself that you're supposed to put on. And then this screws in right there. I also now remember reading that there's a switch on the PCB that turns either this light on, or both of them on, or both of them off. If I'm remembering that correctly, so we may have to look into that. But let's get this screwed on. Now, this does not come with any screws. It does come with an extra gasket. We're going to put that back in. But there are no screws, so we'll have to go to our extra screws again and find 2 countersunk screws here. So we can actually dump these there, and we'll pour those in. And these look pretty perfect. And again, here is the switch. It is underneath or right beside that shift key. There's actually a cutout in the plate right here to get to it. And we want to swing it all the way to the bottom. So we want it to come down all the way towards us. So we're just going to use a screwdriver here and click it down. All right, so now it's in the far down position. And so again, that's going to be the right side is going to come on and off with caps lock. Left side will not light up at all. And we're actually going to utilize a key in that spot. And if it looks super weird or janky or whatever, we'll switch it back. That's the nice thing about custom keyboards. You get to choose. All right. I think that looks ready for keycaps. How about you? Let's get our Tuzi going. Oh, that not sluggish at all. That sounds really solid. All right, good. All right, here we go. So we got the keycaps on. We got everything ready. Let's plug it in, see what it sounds like. We should probably also drop into VIA and get the JSON loaded and make sure everything is in the right spot here. So, okay, now here's our settings. It's already loaded. This is awesome. So, split left shift, nope. I barely use this. I mean, I like having it, but I'm not going to use it a ton. So, and when I do, it's over here, not... Why haven't we been doing southpaw this whole time? Okay. Here we go. All right. Yeah, that's way more like it. Okay. So, as you can hear, it is classic top mount. It is loud and clacky. These Huskies are long poles. They're loud and clacky on their own. We have the aluminum sandwich mount, which sits on the tiniest of little rubber nibs in only 3 places, and then gets sandwiched between the 2 giant hunks of aluminum. So the sound is just going to go through the whole board. All right, well, thanks for hanging out as we built this. This was really fun to build. Another hit from Daring Run. The DR70F was really fun. This was really fun. I love the different options. It was just, you know, a whole new board from a whole new company, and everyone has different ways of doing things, and it's just really fun to see how Daring Run did some things. The sandwich mount is new to me as well, and very unique with the blocker down here, or you can do two blockers, or I think they do wind keyless blockers as well. So a lot of options on that. And everyone can personalize it and make it their own, from sound to look. So thanks again for hanging out with me as we did this. Kinetic Labs with the Husky switches, Canon keys with my cherry clip-ins. That went perfect on this. This was my first time with cherry clip-ins. I think they worked out great. We tuned up the spacebar and it turned out awesome. The keycaps are from Omnitype. These are GMK Tuzis. We have this is from Daring Run itself, although you can get these on Divinity, I believe, still in the black. So check it out. This is the Daring Run 6P. Thanks a lot for hanging out. I'll see you later. Peace.